Welcome to the program where we talk about all things Denmark and things that are important to the Danish people. I'm your host, Bjorn Jorgensen. Today, we focus on a unique and integral part of the Danish society, and that is our royal monarch. We have a lot that we're going to cover, so let's jump right in. Our first guest will be giving you viewers a little background on the monarchy for those of you who don't know. Please welcome to the program Astrid Sorensen, a historian who currently is a professor at the University of Copenhagen and who focuses on the monarchy. Welcome to the program, Astrid. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine, Bjorn. Happy to be here.
Alrighty, first question. What is the capital of Denmark? I am just kidding, just joshing you, breaking the ice a little bit, but seriously. What can you tell me about the role the monarchy has played in Denmark throughout history?
Well, let me just tell you, the monarchy has played a tremendous role throughout our history. It can be traced back all the way to Gorm the Old.
Gorm the Old,
who lived in the 900s. And then, it turned into an inherited monarchy where the eldest son ruled. And then in 1849, it became an absolute monarchy. And now, of course, it's the constitutional monarchy. And so much history.
Oh, you're done. That sure was fascinating. For most of us out there, we have no idea what you just said. That's my water. What exactly
water?
does a constitutional monarchy mean? And how does it differ from an absolute monarchy?
Silly me, I just get way too ahead of myself.
You sure do.
A constitutional monarchy is a monarchy in which the power of the ruler is restricted to those granted under the laws of the nation. This is different than an absolute monarchy because an absolute monarchy is, an absolute monarchy is where the monarchy rules everything.
So, how was the monarchy received before it was changed from an absolute monarchy to a constitutional monarchy? Riddle me that one.
I will riddle you that. It had such a shaky past. There are so many rulers who have been killed.
That really hurt. Okay then, that makes a lot more sense. Who is the current ruler of Denmark?
Why, the Queen, of course, Her Majesty Marguerite II.
Now wait just a Danish minute. You mean to tell me that we have a queen as a ruler? Does she have big blue hair?
No.
When did they allow women to begin to rule a country as wonderful as Denmark?
They didn't let women rule in Denmark until 1953. Even then, there was no queen in Denmark until the queen that ruled in Denmark until our queen, Marguerite.
The one with the big blue hair.
The one with the big blue hair.
Okay.
Anyway, actually Marguerite I, she ruled in Denmark, but she was not queen. She just kept that seat nice and warm.
Oh, she kept the seat warm. We always like happy endings. They're always good. It's probably part of the reason Denmark just took over the top spot as the happiest place on earth from Disneyland. Stupid Mickey Mouse. Do you think the monarchy today has a future?
Oh, sure, of course the monarchy has a future. It's lasted this long. It's one of the oldest monarchies in the world. A monarchy like that just can't disappear.
That is a very true statement. Well, we have to take a commercial break, and I want to thank Astrid for joining us today. We'll be right back, and hope to see you back.
Ja, så vil vi spille længe nok, hva'? Hvorfor slås om at komme til de mest populære spil? Spil dem derhjemme på Atari TV-computer i fred og ro. Ja, hej du, vi hørte dig på Atari. Prøv Atari-computerspil hos din radioforhandler.
And welcome back. I'm sure that Atari commercial was sure fascinating. Looks like they're making a strong comeback. And now our next guest of the show is Eric, who is a political analyst to the station. Welcome to the show, Eric.
Hello.
Whoa, that was quite the entrance. Now can you...
That's how I roll.
That is how you roll. What exactly does a constitutional monarchy mean in terms of ruling?
Well, Bjorn, Denmark has a constitutional monarchy, which means that the monarch cannot independently perform political acts. Although the monarch signs all acts of parliament, these only come into force when they have been countersigned by the cabinet minister.
And does our queen have a beautiful signature?
It's quite exquisite, and it's come a long way over the years.
Oh, how do the queen and
It's no John Hancock or anything.
Oh, no John Hancock to our American counterparts. How do the queen and parliament work together?
Well, as head of state, the monarch participates in the formation of a new government. After consultation with representatives of the political parties, the party leader, who has the support of the largest number of seats in the Danish parliament, is invited to form a government. Once a government has been formed, the monarchy formally appoints it. Additionally, the monarch is the formal head of the government and therefore presides over the state council, where acts passed by the Folketing are signed into law.
Ooh, that is quite fascinating.
It is.
We see the royal family in the papers and the media all the time, but what do they really do? Or is life just one big party for them, like I know our British counterparts over there it is?
Yes, Bjorn. Well, the Queen's main tasks are to represent Denmark abroad and to be a figurehead here at home. The Queen accomplishes foreign relations by hosting official visits to foreign heads of state and paying her own visits abroad. Sure, when looking at the monarchy from the outside, the activities of the royal family can appear to be that of a party, particularly with all the lavish events that are thrown and attended. Not to mention how publicized things are, like the royal yacht and the family's various palaces have been of late.
The royal yacht?
Yes.
Is it quite beautiful?
It's a wonderful boat.
Boat? Ooh, it's a boat, not a yacht. How many bathrooms does it have?
Last I checked, 4.5.
4.5 bathrooms?
Yes.
That is more than any apartment in Copenhagen. You will find in any apartment in Copenhagen.
Much more than mine.
Much more than yours. I'm just joshing with you.
Oh, Lord. Should have known. But back to your question, the personal relationships that are formed and maintained in these so-called parties, if you will, go a long way toward forming and continuing strong personal bonds between Denmark and the leaders of other countries. As far as being a figurehead here at home, the Queen performed this by doing things like accepting invitations to open exhibitions, attending various anniversaries, and performing knighthood and civil service appointments and retirements. These types of events may seem unnecessarily lavish and excessive to some, but the existence of such formalities remind the people of Denmark of their strength and long-standing history throughout this ever-changing Europe and gives them a legitimate sense of pride and nationalism.
We are a very proud people.
Very proud.
We the Danes, yes, yes. And one final question for
Sure.
you, Eric. Do you think that the monarch has a future in our country? And is there anything the monarch needs to do to make sure that, say, 50 years from now, when I'm hopefully in my grave, the monarch will still be around?
Well, that's a good question, Bjorn. A lot of people wonder this. It's not only about the monarchs of Denmark, but all the other monarchs. Particularly with Denmark, I don't see this monarchy going anywhere anytime soon.
Okay.
The royal family and everything associated with it is a symbol of the long-standing heritage of the people of Denmark. While the family may not have the lawmaking power it once had, they are more successful than ever in personally representing the country on the world stage. Accomplishing this, along with representing the strong history of the Danish people, is something that will only go stronger in the coming years.
Oh, well, I sure hope so. I sure hope you're right. And we want to thank Eric for being here today, and we're going to take one more quick commercial break before we wrap up the show real quick.
Thank you, Bjorn.
You're welcome.
Mestrene møde tælles, og sekunderne flyver. Den nye revolutionerende kvartsteknik tager sig af tiden med en hidtil uset præcision. Der satses utroligt hårdt i den nådeløse kamp om mesterskabet, men Timex kvarts holder til det hele. Vandtæt, stødsikkert og robust. Hvad du end byder de Timex kvarts, det går bare. Pålideligt og præcist, år efter år. Du skulle også få dig Timex kvarts nu. Timex kvarts, knusende stærkt.
And welcome back from our commercial break. I wear a Timex watch. I'm not wearing one right now, but I usually do. And now, I'm being told that we have our field reporter, Kalinka Stryker, I believe in downtown Copenhagen. Kalinka, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, Bjorn. I'm in the heart of downtown Copenhagen, and I'm pulling aside a local citizen to talk with us. Hello, sir. Hi. Would you be willing to talk with us today?
Okay.
Okay, great. Welcome, have a seat. I'm Kalinka Stryker from Good Morning Copenhagen. What's your name?
Vico Vaj.
Vico, it's very nice to meet you. Well, we were talking about the monarchy on the show today, and so as a Danish citizen, I'd just like to get your feelings on the current political system in Denmark.
Okay, well, I think it works. I mean, politics are never perfect, but I guess I'm happy with how things are going. If nothing else, it's very entertaining for most of us Danes.
It sure is. And speaking of entertainment and the media, I'm wondering about the connections between the media and feelings about the monarchy. It's estimated that around 97% of Danes, 75% of Danes.
I was going to say that's a little high.
I wish it was that high. Read a newspaper daily. Do you read a paper regularly?
I do. I read the Copenhagen Post most days.
Well, that's excellent. Do you feel that paper or other media influence your feelings about the political system?
I feel like that's a little bit of a loaded question. I mean, papers provide a lot of information, sometimes usually very slanted information. But I hope people, especially Danes, have enough intellect to choose, rational opinions for themselves.
Well, we would hope so, but some say that we Danes are too reserved and dependent on state welfare to make the necessary changes. The media seems to perpetuate this and calls the system antiquated. What are your thoughts on this?
It's true. It's a big question, but I'm not sure if it's a question of whether the politics in general are to blame. But we do have a parliament, democracy. The citizens have a choice, a voice. The monarchy is mostly here to represent our culture, and it gives us a sense of identity, but the monarchy kind of glosses over a lot of the politics.
Well, you said an important thing about maintaining cultural identity. Do you personally feel connected with the monarch?
I do. It's definitely a part of my heritage and the culture of this country.
So I wonder if you know that before the monarchy became constitutional that we had a rather unsettling history. A lot of kings were killed in the past. What are your thoughts on this?
I definitely do know about that. I did finish university. Most of those kings were largely unpopular and very corrupt. So the monarchy now is kept in check. So there's not a lot of room to actually be corrupt.
That's true, and thank God for that. So do you think that the monarchy will last? Does it have a future?
As long as it maintains a symbol of pride and a positive symbol, I suppose you could say. I think it's got a good chance of sticking around for a while.
Well, let's hope so. Thanks so much, Vico, for taking time to talk with us. I'm Kalinka Stryker. Now back to you, Bjorn.
Well, that is all the time we have today on Good Morning Copenhagen. A special thanks to all our special guests who joined us today. Join us tomorrow where we look at the big issue around the Danish pastry and if it really is from Denmark. You stay classy, Copenhagen.